You remember, hey, man, I had a great relationship with this person. Then I moved to this person and it wasn't so good.
And Dan's point, you don't know if your franchise guy is sitting in the locker room.
In addition to head coach Kevin Stefanski's evasive responses, Cleveland's unwillingness to give Sanders actual game experience points to a more serious problem, possibly a lack of vision or apprehension about committing to a young quarterback who may reshape the organization. The Browns' quarterback room is a mystery as the first week approaches. Additionally, the decision to bench Sanders in spite of his outstanding preseason play is drawing criticism and stoking rumors that the team is passing up a fantastic chance. The Browns' offseason was a well-thought-out risk. They had no intention of selecting two quarterbacks. However, GM Andrew Berry was powerless to stop Shedeur Sanders, who was predicted by some to be a top 10 choice, from falling to the 5th round. In keeping with the idea that Sanders was a low-risk, high-reward flyer, Berry stated, "The value is there, so we rolled the dice." The larger investment, Dylan Gabriel, was selected in the 3rd round and was praised for his rapid processing and college background at UCF, Oklahoma, and Oregon. However, the Browns' behavior, or lack thereof, indicates that they are not yet prepared to declare either to be the future. The 40-year-old veteran Joe Flacco was selected as the starting quarterback for the first week, which was a safe but short-term decision considering his heroics in 2023 that helped Cleveland reach the playoffs. Kenny Pickett, who was traded from Philadelphia, was the front-runner at first, but his case was wrecked by a hamstring injury, and he was traded to the Raiders. Now that Flacco is gone, Gabriel and Sanders are the main focus. However, the decision appears to have immobilized the Browns. Ryan Clark didn't hold back when speaking. Shedeur isn't getting the playing time he needs to establish himself.
In the season, you pull the trigger right now.
Swagoo agreed, asking why a team vying for survival wouldn't put Sanders to the test in real games to determine whether he was the solution. Sanders made an electrifying preseason debut versus Carolina. He completed 14 of 23 throws for 138 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a 19-yard rush that demonstrated his poise and ability to create plays. His ability to stand tall in the pocket and deliver in scoring range turned into hits, even though he had a few near picks that weren't flawless. LeBron James took to X to denounce the team's sole preseason and to offer credit and grace to the story. Nevertheless, despite this performance, Sanders was still the 4th quarterback on the depth chart, behind Pickett and an injured Gabriel, as well as Tyler Huntley, who was a late addition. Stefanski pulled him for Huntley after his last preseason game against the Rams was tougher, resulting in a sack after holding the ball for 8.36 seconds. Analysts like Clark contend that Sanders is being unjustly buried despite his bursts of brilliance, pinpoint precision, leadership, and poise. Clark cited Sanders' impressive performances in 7-on-7 drills and red zone work as evidence that every time he's been tested in training sessions, he's delivered. Stefanski's handling of the matter has simply made things worse. When questioned about the quarterback competition, his press conferences have been a masterclass in evasiveness, with answers such as, "We do what the players need, and we'll make that call in a couple of days."
Find out if they can start for your football team.
His hesitancy was evident when he was questioned about Sanders in particular. He said that he didn't anticipate Sanders increasing practice participation anytime soon, citing a day-by-day healing process from mild arm soreness. This was viewed as more than just caution by fans and pundits. Stefanski seemed to be avoiding the pressure of a Sanders breakaway, which was a comfort. Swagoo contended, "It's like they don't want him to succeed," adding that if the team believes in development, even a 5th-round choice merits a real shot. Adam Schefter provided context by implying that the Browns' lack of a significant contract, first-round funding, and little investment in Sanders indicates that there is no pressing need to give him priority. However, fans find this reasoning frustrating. Why not test Sanders' ceiling if he were steel? Meanwhile, Gabriel has a case of his own, with decisiveness and efficiency demonstrated by his preseason stats of 25 of 37 for 272 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. He was selected as Flacco's backup quarterback. His collegiate completion rate of 73% and average depth of target of 6.5 demonstrate his short area accuracy. However, his 5'11" build and less combative demeanor cast doubt on his long-term prospects. Despite both players having injuries, the Browns chose to select Gabriel as their quarterback 2 picks in, indicating that they believe he is more prepared for the NFL. Swaga's point, however, endures. Why not give both youngsters similar repetitions to find a franchise quarterback if the Browns are vying for Stefanski's job? Even after Pickett's trade, the team's depth chart choices that kept Sanders at quarterback 3 seem to be a refusal to consider the notion that Sanders might be the solution. It is perplexing why the Browns are reluctant to use Sanders in important games. A quarterback's potential can only be accurately assessed through real game action against first-team defenses. Preseason reps are one thing. Clark's criticism is profound. It's nearly impossible to assess his ceiling without those reps. Their hopes were hampered by Gabriel's hamstring problems and Sanders' arm pain. Even when healthy, Sanders' lack of first-team appearances raises concerns.
They'd be competing in practice.
It would have been a much harder decision to figure out which one of those young men would start.
When Sanders, the most dynamic member of the group, is confined to the sidelines, Stefanski's assertion that he wants to develop the entire quarterback room is a lie. Seeing a reoccurrence of Cleveland's QB errors has fans anxious. Deshaun Watson, Baker Mayfield, and now Sanders, maybe. The 3-14 catastrophe of the 2024 season looms large. Additionally, there is pressure to find a long-term solution because Watson will be out for at least the first 4 games of 2025. This goes beyond the first week. The Browns' future is at issue. With his composure and style, Sanders has the potential to be the NFL's long-awaited superstar. He is not defined by his 5th-round slide, as Clark and Swagago imply. Gabriel's consistent and effective performance under duress makes the floor safer, but it can also result in a lower ceiling. The Browns' hesitancy. With Sanders out, Plocko has a stopgap Pickett deal, which feels more like stalling than planning. Stefanski's evasive statements and unwillingness to accept Sanders feed rumors that he's trying to avoid the trouble that a real rivalry would cause. But why not check to see if your franchise guy is in the locker room, as Swagago suggested? The Browns find themselves at a turning point. Play Sanders and run the danger of revealing their hesitation, or risk missing a star by keeping him buried. The clock is ticking as the AFC North approaches. Raiders fans, your newest quarterback is affected by the Browns' controversy. Can he pick it up right now? A backup who is harboring resentment? The true query, though, is for Cleveland. Is Shedeur Sanders the way of the future, or is their disregard for him a replay of past errors? Is the Browns losing money because of their caution, or can Gabriel step up? Please share your opinions in the comments section below.